Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach. As you probably know by now, it's Pesach, or Pesach is coming, depending on when you're watching this. And what a holiday that is. So much preparation is involved. We have early warning signs in the form of special readings from the Torah in the weeks leading up to the holiday, and then there's the wonderful cleaning of the house, eliminating all chametz, all leavening from one's possession, and changing over the dishes, and this tremendous amount of labor that goes into preparing for this holiday. The question is, what's it really all about? What is Pesach really celebrated for? Is it just a matter of habit, tradition, an opportunity for family and relatives to get together? It is all those things. There's also, however, a strong spiritual import here, and it centers around two aspects, I would say. One is this aspect of purification, in which we are eliminating all the physical chametz from our possession. And then there is this aspect of liberation, of freedom, of going out from Egypt. And actually, the two themes of this holiday are very closely related, because the fact is that one cannot go out from Egypt unless one is liberated from one's chametz, one's leavening. Leavening being not only physical possession, but also a spiritual reality. We all have our chametz, our inner chametz. We all have our inner fermentation, our inner rottenness, our inner junk that needs to be eliminated, cleaned out, if we are to be the whole and clean and pure and loving human beings that we are really meant to be. So it's our chametz that tends to hold us in a state of stasis, of not being able to move, in a state of slavery, if you will. Slavery being something that is also a multi-level phenomenon. There is, of course, physical slavery. There is the slavery of our ancestors in Egypt 33 centuries ago. That was quite physical. But there are also different kinds of slavery in which we have found ourselves in subsequent generations. Not just physical imprisonment or impairment, but also emotional, and also intellectual, and also spiritual limitations. All these things are different levels of slavery. All these things can be understood as different kinds of Egypt with which we have to deal. And since we have to deal with an inner Egypt, there's certainly an inner Pharaoh that keeps us enslaved. This inner Pharaoh being closely related to the chametz that I was just talking about. So how do we deal with our inner Pharaoh? Well, fortunately, there's also the reality of an inner Moses. We have an inner desire to be free. Only we forget about that in our stasis, in our being caught up in the habits, in the various enslavements in which we are caught up. And liberating ourselves from these various kinds of enslavement is a very tricky process, because we don't see ourselves all that clearly. This is one of the reasons why we have the holiday of Pesach. It's not just to celebrate the historic liberation of the Jewish people from slavery, but the fact that we are all slaves in one way, shape, or form or another. And how do we liberate ourselves from that slavery? Well, we put our attention on that as we are cleaning the chametz out of our houses. Hopefully we're also looking at the chametz that we have in our mind, in our heart, in our soul, and we're able to eliminate some of that as well. And maybe we have certain experiences that maybe God sends us during this time that are illuminating for us, that show us in our true light, in an objective light, that allow us to see how we are our own worst enemies, how we are our own worst pharaohs, oppressors, and how it's only our desire for liberation, our inner Moses, that can liberate us from the various enslavements in which we're caught. So here is wishing you and yours a wonderful Pesach, a Pesach of true purification and true liberation from all your limitations, from all your negative habits of mind and action, so that you can go forth from whatever Egypt that you may be caught up in, from whatever self-created Pharaoh that is oppressing you, and that you can make progress towards your own personal promised land, the land of your hopes and dreams, the land where your fondest desires will be fulfilled. This is not just the land of Israel, but everyone has their promised land fulfilled hopes. Everyone has their heaven on earth towards which they are striving. And may you take significant steps towards that heaven on earth this Pesach season. Again, Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach V'Kasher.